Welcome to Kentucky, everybody. Bastian Tan starts on pole from Dav Sanchez and Awful Catfish. Then it's Casanova Cornwell, Takeyoshi Nishimoto, and teammate Carlos Fernandez. Zach Sheehan starts 7th from Guillermo Perez and teammate Magic, and rounding out the top 10 is Star, followed by Kushma 3rd, Monclar 9th, and Alex Cavillas. Joshua Spence starts 14th from Reina Cerulis and Silky, and in 17th place is Dominic Vancelau, followed by Enoch Yu. Victor Levi is followed by countryman Davy Circurera and Escato Copter. Then it's Mario Kloske, Arnold Yu, and Tommy Yu. There's no horses here today, but it sure will be a derby. The Indy Grand Prix of Kentucky is underway, and that is a beautiful start off the line from Bastian Tan and Casanova Cornwell as they run down into turn number 1. The number 24 moves up into 3rd place and chases after 2nd. That, of course, being held by the 72 of Dav Sanchez as they come through turn number 2. Bastian Tan holds on to the race lead for an Ed Carpenter racing team who needs every good result they can get if they're to make their way into the Indy 500 later on this season. 17 laps around this racetrack. Some may say it's a lot, a heck of a ton, but trust me, they're going to go by very quickly. Catfish getting a track limits warning. Got to see a lot of those going through the final sector of this racetrack, as Enoch Yu also takes a lot more of the off-road than he should. On to lap 2 of 17, and we do have some housekeeping work to do. We've got some red flags. That's right, we've got red flags in Monoposto now. They won't show up too often, and they'll only appear if we've got a massive wreck. But also, additionally to this channel now has memberships, where you will get these races early, and you'll get shouted out in each ERL race. So we don't have too many members as it stands. We've only got one, so thank you very much to UCable for funding this insanity. The memberships are very cheap, but again, very much optional. Awful Catfish getting a 2nd track limits warning as we ride on board with the man in the 2 car, still repping Dan Weldon on the helmet. And I'm recording this on the same day here in the UK as I found out about Kyle Busch's passing. So I was just thinking about other drivers passing away. It does make me feel a bit misty. But I'm going to keep pushing on in any case, as we're now on lap 3 of 17. And look at Sanchez taking that much curb. These mediums are holding up pretty well, 71% tire wear there. The push-to-pass systems across the ERL have seen massive improvements that effectively make these cars rocket ships in a straight line using the electrical deploy. In a nutshell, heading down into turn number 1, these guys are hitting 500 kilometers per hour roundabout. We ride on board with that 72, using the tandem of attack mode and push to pass. Having to lift to make sure that he doesn't run into the 22, his own countryman right in front of him. And Bastian hasn't really received too much of a challenge. Here comes the 18 of Takeyoshi, almost into the side of his own teammate. That wily old Japanese driver. I say that as if he's old. He really isn't. He's in his 2nd season in the ERL. And yet he drives as if he's been here before. Arnold Yu hanging off the back of the pack as Catfish is on his own up in 4th place. Cornwell in that 24 car, definitely making this lead pack somewhat interesting as we go on to lap 5. There's a high likelihood that this race will be won not by overall on-track passes, but on strategy. As we've already seen, the abundance of medium-speed corners makes the dirty air effect very, very prevalent, as Nishimoto, Kushma 3rd, Joshua Spence, and Star all come down into the pits. Reina Cerulis and Davy Circurera also come down into pit lane. The 22 of Bastian Tan, however, started on pole and still leads the way as the 2 U's have come to blows. That is Tommy Yu facing backwards down at turn number 1. family member Arnold there, getting a 5-second time penalty for causing that collision. Doesn't seem to have any front wing damage, or at least not nearly as much as the 45 does. Sanchez has come down into the pits for his first stop of the race. It's hard compound tires going on. Fernandez is heading down the main straight and comes down into pit lanes. Sheehan's also in. Perez comes in. Sanchez will be racing Magic on pit exit here, and I believe he'll just about win that race on pit exit, and will come out of the pits in 4th place. When now, as long as he can keep the Spaniard behind him, he's got clear air for 26 seconds. Bastian, Cornwell, and Catfish all yet to come down into the pits. And for the 22, that seems to be more of a problem as the cautions come out, and we come on to that as they're wrecking down in a straight line. Joshua Spence, Guillermo Perez, and Reina Cerulis all involved as the 16 gets it back on the road. Out goes Spence and Perez. This is perfect timing for Bastian, or at least it would be if he could come down into the pits. Bastian Tan and Casanova Cornwell have both missed pit entry, so the only man who's going to gain anything from this caution period is Awful Catfish, and he doesn't even make it into his pit box in time. All is calm in Sanchez Nation. Zach Sheehan, he's received a track limits warning on his lonesome mess, as Mario Kloske is holding off Carlos Fernandez for now. Catfish reemerges behind his teammate as we're running on board with a 37. Heading down that main straight, he pulls out to the inside of turn number 1 and will take 6th place very easily. Love being here in Kentucky, honestly. Home of KFC. Not sponsored unless they want to, in which case, sure. As Tommy Yu getting very close to the back of Magic. We got yellows down in sector 2, and that's a run for Nishimoto. Oh! Red flag is out! Oh! Unbelievable. A perfectly timed red flag then for Cornwell and Bastian Tan. The 5 red lights are back on, and racing resumes here in Kentucky, and that's a better start then for Awful Catfish off the line as they barrel down into the opening corner once again. The number 2 car this time moving up into 3rd place. Sanchez drops down to 4th, and already a caution comes out. That's Levi and Magic spinning it round, and Magic has involved Tommy Yu in that, a man who just can't seem to catch a break today at all. At the very least, it's not a full course caution that has come out, but yes, Perez and Nishimoto were out in that wreck, and I believe it was Monk Cloud 9 who unfortunately was seen spinning around near the end of that footage before the red flag pulled all the drivers into the pits. Bastian Tan, well, he's led every lap of this race so far, and on lap 8 of 17, he's still holding off Chris Cornwell and a hyperdrive, but this time it's the 2 instead of the 72. Catfish somehow benefiting, going through turn number 1 with the superior line, while Cornwell just couldn't make the most of having the inside. You can see the effect that using all that push-to-pass can have. It drains quicker now compared to races prior, but with it being more powerful, I don't think the drivers mind all that much. Already, Catfish closing in. 8 to go from Kentucky. Fastest laps flying in already, as Bastian Tan is still very much at the head of the pack, even with it being pushed together with the restart he's still flying in that yellow Ed Carpenter Racing car. Won for Kondo Racing in the FG series last season. FG itself seemingly trying to come back to life next season. But we will wait and see on that front. He's not really had the best time of things so far in his return to top level ERL racing with the IndyCar series. But now, at the head of the pack, there's really no stopping him. Came into this race not really looking too good, was Bastian. 17th in the championship for Ed Carpenter Racing. We know he's faster than his teammate. He's got more points than his teammate. And had all of his results gone his way, there is no way that Ed Carpenter Racing would be 12th and last in the points. But it looks like finally things are looking Bastian. And if he can get the fastest lap, he'll be able to lock down the very first Grand Slam in ERL IndyCar Racing. On to the main straight then with 6 laps to go here in Kentucky. And Cornwell's trying to close in as Catfish comes down into pit lane. Trying to do the undercut which his teammate failed at as Sir Carrera is out on the main straight. It's a full course yellow as Silky also dives down into the pits. Power Motorsport came into this race joint 9th in points but classified 10th as X44 had a podium. This does not help the team's battle to enter the Indianapolis 500 at the end of the season. Of course, as you should know, as we get back under the green flags, as you should know, only the top 9 teams in the IRL standings will make it through as Arnold Yu is out of this race down in turn number 1. Another yellow flag and another full course yellow period. And allows me to explain what's going on with the Indy 500. Top 9 teams and drivers in the championship will proceed to the 500 at the end of the season. For the bottom 3 teams, they will not be allowed to participate and will score 0 points. Instead, the top 3 teams in Champ Car will be allowed to take their place. Dominic Vancelau, by the way, as we get back under the green flags, just came out of the pits on a new set of hard compound tires. None of the top 3 were able to take any advantage of that caution. As Bastian comes in, Cornwell comes in, Sanchez stays out as Fernandez is also down into the pits. Now Catfish is surely going to be able to get in front of the guys who were in the leading pack before. And for Bastian, that leading hope is gone. There's no way he can get a Grand Slam now. And a caution returns. It's Tommy Yu this time. And it's on the main straight again. We believe he hit the inside tire barrier. And that's caused the yellow flag and the Hong Kong driver's retirement. Not a good day to be a member of the Yu family unless you're a knock. In which case you're up in 7th, running some of the best laps of your career on Narrett. We're back on the green flags with 5 to go. Cornwell all over the back of Victor Levi. That's Cerulis getting a bit racy there. We right on board with a 7 from Brazil. Fred Carpenter Racing. His hard tires have put him in the wall there with no grip. Victor Levi goes around Casanova. Cornwell gets a 5-second time penalty. And the Brazilian in the 7 re-emerges almost into the path of magic. Def Sanchez comes down into the pits with 4 laps to go. Awful Catfish leads from Silky and Star. Then it's Bastian Tan who tries to go for the lunge but gets a 5-second time penalty instead. The 22, who had looked oh so indomitable throughout all of today's race, might have faltered At the worst place to falter, down at turn number 1, getting a time penalty of all things. Silky trying to close up to the hyperdrive man of the 2 car. This win, as it would stand, would put Awful Catfish to a place he hasn't been since season 23, the top of the series championship. Innocuous re-emerged in this race in 16th as Victor Levi gets back on the road. Coming through 1 there, putting some distance between Catfish and Silky with 3 laps to go. And that might just seal it for the season 22 Formula E World Series champion. That might have just sealed it. I'm very sorry that I didn't post at all during Eurovision weekend. Was too busy listening to the Romanian entry. I would have told you guys to go vote. I wish I had some way to just type it in real post, but who knows. The midfield still looking very racy. Kushmith up in 9th place. This is good for an X44 team who needs some good results under their belts, as Daf Sanchez gets a track limits warning in 12th place, trying to slice and sway his way through the field with tyres that can make it to the end. We believe that everyone should have the tyres to see the checkered flag at this rate, as we're on lap 15 of 17. Don't mind what it says next to Awful Catfish's name. It's been 9 laps since the red flag. And Star is actually flying here. Still behind Victor Levi on the road. And who is that closing in? Is that Vastian 10? It is. So the 22 still not giving up on this podium yet. And he is definitely getting a lot closer through the low speeds. That's where that number 22 had come to racing car seems to be shining. We're on to the penultimate lap. Here in Kentucky is Silky getting very rowdy with Victor Levi coming down into turn 2. Just back onto the Brazilian. And as it stands, this could shake up some things near the bottom of the standings, but it will give us a new points leader. Daf Sanchez has only made it up to 11th at this stage. Kvyat is close, and therefore so are the points, but those soft tires aren't looking too hot anymore, as his teammate is rounding the final corner. Awful Catfish will bring us to the current lap. 1 lap to go here in Kentucky. It has been one of the most surprising outcomes of a race that we've seen in quite some time, from having a terrible race start to making the most of a red flag period. That is Awful Catfish in a nutshell. Opportunistic, and you can say the same about when he joined Sims Racing in season 21. Got all those wins between season 21 through to season 23, and of course the team's first championship. While he's looking to try and take a championship away from his teammate now, it seems, coming through the final set of corners. Haven't said this since Homestead, as the cautions come out for Daf Sanchez's very own teammate is out of this race. It's Awful Catfish who will bring the field round to the checkered flag under caution down the main straight here in Kentucky. Awful Catfish will come home with victory in the Kentucky Indy Grand Prix. We're back under the green flags then. Cornwell looking to just get past Cerulis, at least on the road. Silky will come home and bring second place for AJ Foyt Racing. As everyone else now sees that checkered flag, and Kvyat will make it a double point score for the team second in the points. Well then, here is your podium. Awful Catfish bringing home a spectacular strategy-based victory in the 7th round of the ERL IndyCar Series. Silky came home with a 2nd place result, and Star was 3rd for Forsyth Racing. As for the rest of your finishes, and here are the official results. Awful Catfish coming home with the 2nd win of the season, followed by Selkie and Star, your podium finishers, as already mentioned. Then it's Reina Cirilis, Sebastian Tan, and Carlos Fernandez. Then Zach Sheeden, Casanova Cornwell, Kush Mathur, Alex Kvyat, Mario Kloske, Moncloud 9, Magic, Dominic Vancelau, Anok Yu, and Victor Levi, the finishers, with Victor finishing a lap down. Dav Sanchez might have scored the fastest lap of the race, but he wasn't able to see the checkered flag, nor was Arnold Yu, Escato Copter, Davi Circulera, Guillermo Perez, Joshua Spence, Takeyoshi Nishimoto, or Tommy Yu. And that DNF for Dav Sanchez means that Awful Catfish now leads the points, followed by the number 72. Then it's Nishimoto and Kvyat, then Star, Magic, Silky, Cornwell, Arnold Yu, Joshua Spence, Reina Cirilis, Zach Sheeden, and Kush Mathur, followed by Vassian Tan, Mario Kloske, Guillermo Perez, Anok Yu, Dominic Vancelau, Carlos Hernandez, Tommy Yu, Davi Circulera, Moncloud 9, Victor Levi, and Escato Copter. So at the top, both of the Hyperdrive men with 2 race wins, but Catfish does have that 3rd place, so that's 1 more podium finish in comparison. Who's going to take it once we head to the final 5 rounds of the season? At least in the Constructors, things look a lot more simple. Hyperdrive Advance will lead the way from AJ Foyt Racing and Team Forsyth. Then it's Goodhart Racing, Colin Buzz, Team Menard, Panther Racing, Junior Motorsports, and Ed Carpenter Racing. X44, Power Motorsport, and Maya Shank are currently ineligible for the Indy 500. But this race today in Kentucky was absolutely fantastic, and we will see you guys next time then for some more Electric Racing League action when the ERL returns.